All right, so we're coming up on October pretty quickly here. My last video, I read a Richard Matheson book, and I mentioned that I've not read I Am Legend. That has got to be one of the books on my shelf that I've owned the longest, but still have not read. I've probably had that book for like 15 years. So, that being said, I decided as I was looking around my shelves, I have a lot of vampire books that I haven't read yet. And I also mentioned a while back that I want to reread Dracula. I haven't read Dracula in decades, since I was a teenager. So I want to reread it. I'm going to start with I Am Legend because it's pretty short. It's only a couple hundred pages, I think. And it is about vampires, not like the movie. Now, I was definitely confused when I was younger. I thought maybe it was about zombies for a while, but no, you can tell by the cover. It is vampires. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure it says bloodthirsty nocturnal creatures. I'm pretty sure it's about vampires. So, starting with I Am Legend. October is going to be all vampire novels for me. I've got a couple graphic novels and a few novels here that I'll talk about. I hope you'll join me. Pick a vampire book that you've had on your shelf for a long time. If you've never read Dracula, this is a perfect time to do that. Speaking of which, Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is a pretty long book, so it might take me a while to get through this, but usually in a month I can read 5 or 6 books. So I've got about 6 books here. I should be good, but yeah, maybe the last few I won't quite get to. But definitely want to get to Dracula. It's way overdue for a reread. They just had the Nosferatu movie come out. Um, I think it was maybe last year for Christmas. I still haven't seen it, so I'm going to watch that this year. They also came out with Sinners, which I'm pretty sure is about vampires. I want to watch that as well. It's going to be a whole thing. This October, Halloween, is going to be all vampires. Vampires are one of my favorite monsters of all time. I mean, they got to be at the very top for me, probably. So, speaking of Dracula, I actually picked up the Universal Monsters Dracula. This is by James Tynion and Martin Simmons. These are the guys that did The Department of Truth. That's actually a different artist in the front. I think I got like the alternate cover, not intentionally, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not quite as good as Martin Simmons. Look at his art. His art, I flipped through the book, is absolutely insane. So, really excited to read this. Very short, probably read this in one sitting. Universal Monsters Dracula. Very excited to get to that. Alright, so something old, something new. Of course, Dracula is kind of where it all started. That's where you should start with vampire literature. But I wanted to read something new, so I'm pretty sure this book came out this year. The Buffalo Hunter. I'm a big fan of Stephen Graham Jones. I've heard very mixed things on this book. Some people say it is like the best horror novel of the year, and some people say they couldn't even get through 200 pages, which seems pretty typical for his books. People either seem to love it or can't even finish it. I tend to love everything I've read from him so far, so I have pretty high expectations for this. And I was told, this may be a spoiler, but I was told this is about vampires. So you wouldn't really know that by looking at it. I had no idea what it was about. Weird title, Buffalo Hunter. Pretty sure it's about vampires. So that will probably take up a huge chunk of the month, just reading those. If I have time, I have a few more here. I was looking through my shelves and I was like, oh man, there's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. Let the Right One In by John Lindqvist. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I have seen this movie that it's referencing here on the cover, and I bought the book because I've heard the book's even better than the movie, and It's one of the best modern vampire stories. It's kind of a thick book, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to quite get through this whole thing, but I definitely want to try. Now I'm definitely pushing the boundaries of what I could realistically read in a month, but I've got George R. R. Martin, Fever Dream. I'm pretty sure this is about vampires. I think I read that this is, of course, the author of the Game of Thrones series, Song of Ice and Fire. His, yeah, groundbreaking vampire novel. It says it right there on the front. I found this for dirt cheap. It was like $4 or something. So I heard it's really good, actually. I mean, I've never read anything by Martin other than his Song of Ice and Fire stuff. So, yeah, I didn't even realize he had other stuff, to be honest. Apparently, this is his vampire novel. So, again, probably won't have time. Maybe some of these will roll into November. We'll see how I feel when the time comes, but definitely want to read this as well. All right, another one of the more recent videos I did, I covered a book by Ram V and Dan Waters. It was The One Hand and the Six Fingers, a really cool detective crime murder mystery horror novel. And I mentioned that I have a few Ram V books that have been sitting on for a while, including These Savage Shores. I am pretty sure this is about vampires as well. It probably says it here. I didn't actually look, but I'm pretty sure this is about vampires. And I've heard that it's excellent. So this is very short. Definitely going to try to squeeze this in at some point during the vampire October. All right, now I'm just totally kidding myself. There's no way I can get through this. All these books plus this. This is like a 1,000-page book right here. Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I don't know that this is horror necessarily. I think it's like fantasy horror. So I put it at the end here. I've heard it's excellent. So I'm very excited about it. I've never read anything by Jay Kristoff. I found this hardcover for very cheap, and it was beautiful, and it was in perfect condition, so I picked it up. Yeah, I think he's got maybe a second and even maybe a third book in this series out now. Again, maybe this would be a good November read if I can roll through all these books into November, but we'll see. All right, so maybe you have a vampire book that's been sitting on your shelf for a while. This is going to be the time to read it. Yeah, if you have any books that you want to check out for the Vampire October, let me know. And if I missed any big ones that maybe I haven't read, I probably just don't own a copy of it, so let me know as well. Or if you have a favorite vampire book that I haven't mentioned yet, of course I'd love to hear about it. So yeah, I'll have a few more books to finish up for September, at the very end of September, and then we'll roll into Vampire October. See you then.